From this video, I want to introduce jQuery, a very important JavaScript tool. In our part D, I use 2 videos to give you introduction. All right. The first one, part D.2 Basics of jQuery. All right. Why we want to use jQuery? Main purpose, simplifies JavaScript programming. Make JavaScript programming simpler. You can do more, but with less code. That's the main goal from the jQuery team, developer, creators. Yeah. All right. jQuery is a JavaScript library, so you can download and use it in your project. Very easy. Yeah. Next, the second half of this slide, I will talk about how to install it. Yeah. The purpose of jQuery is to make it much easier to use JavaScript on your website. After you have some experience, then you can understand this part. Yeah. But at this point, first, you are a beginner of JavaScript, regular JavaScript. Yeah. So you do not have a lot of experience using JavaScript. So you need to build up your experience. After that, then when you use jQuery, so you will appreciate, it simplifies a lot of things. Yeah. All right. But for us, because our one semester, we have a lot of topics we need to cover. So I do not have much time to wait. So that's why after I finish the regular JavaScript topic, I move to jQuery immediately. Yeah. Because the next module I plan to talk about PHP. That's another big topic, PHP, and several other topics. Yeah. So that's why, so in this part, so we will get that introduction of the jQuery. Yeah. All right. jQuery philosophy, write less, do more. Right? Simple philosophy. Yeah. All right. How to do it? How to make that happen? Yeah. All right. So here, just give you some simple ways. Use special methods to implement a lot of common tasks in JavaScript. So JavaScript, so when you do things, in this way, so the jQuery tries to find a simpler way. Okay? If you do something, you need to write a lot of code. So jQuery created one special method, that can do a lot of things, right? It can simplify your multiple line code to, much simpler way to do it. Yeah. So that's the idea. Okay. Yeah. jQuery simplifies AJAX call and the DOM manipulation. Yeah. 2 big simplifications. One related to AJAX calls. We will learn this topic later. AJAX. Yeah. After we learn XML, JSON, so then we learn AJAX. Yeah. All right. Then the DOM manipulation. You know the DOM concept, that tree, right? That tree. Okay? So many elements organized by different levels, hierarchy, structure. Yeah. When you access them, so you can access elements, content, attributes, values of the attributes. We can access so many different things in this DOM structure. Yeah. And jQuery make that part simpler. Yeah. That's important. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But when we do practice, I don't want you to skip the regular Java. Okay? I don't want you to skip the regular Java and jump to jQuery immediately, because you need experience of regular Java. Oh, sorry, JavaScript, not Java. Yeah. You need experience of regular JavaScript. I don't want you to jump to jQuery. Or jQuery more efficient than regular JavaScript, but I don't want you to jump there immediately. So when I assign you programming projects, I may ask you to do twice. The first time, implement in JavaScript, then regular JavaScript version. The second time, jQuery version. You need experience, both sides. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I will post first project as soon as possible. Yeah. First project, I plan to post multiple questions, not just the one, because each question relatively simple. So each question cannot be treated as one project. So I want to give you several questions in one project. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Adding jQuery to web pages. Two ways to do it. The first way, download it. Yeah. Download from the jQuery.com. Yeah. It is not very big. Yeah. Not very big. Pretty small. Okay. Yeah. So after we download it, every time when we develop web application, we can include it. Okay? We can include it. All right. Yeah. So example. So in our HTML, we just include this line. Yeah. Suppose we put in a JS folder. Yeah. In our web application, usually we need to have several JavaScript files, external files. So we like to create a JS folder to hold all our JavaScript external files. Yeah. And this jQuery is one of them inside. Yeah. So we can include this line. Then we just use all the jQuery features. Yeah. Second way, include jQuery from CDN. I talked about that before. CDN, remember? CDN. Content Delivery Network, CDN. The Google CDN, Content Delivery Network. So here I give you that line again. Yeah. Because it's a long line, so I break it into two lines. So this one should be up after that. Yeah. So yeah, better put in one line. Yeah, in your code. Yeah. All right. So after that, you just use the Google CDN. Yeah. These two ways. Yeah. jQuery here. Why jQuery can do many things in a simple way. So jQuery try to simplify the way to write JavaScript code. Yeah. So the jQuery, what's the jQuery way? With jQuery, you select. Yeah. So typically you do things in two steps. The first step, select step. Select HTML elements. Selector. So you know the CSS selector, right? So you have the background of CSS selector. Here, we use that. In jQuery, we use that CSS way to select HTML elements. Okay, yeah. Second, perform actions on them. How to perform actions? Call methods. You select some element, so you get an object. From the object, you can call methods. The methods built in jQuery, built in the jQuery JavaScript library file. Then you just use them. Yeah. So very nice. All right. Yeah. But I need you still build up your regular JavaScript experience. Yeah. So you need to do both in this class. Yeah. All right. Next, jQuery syntax. Very simple. Basic format in this way. 2 parts. The first, start with $sign. Dollar, parenthesis, apparel parenthesis, dollar. Inside it, put a selector. CSS style selector. Put there. Then call .action, some action name. Action has a name. Different methods. Method. Many methods built inside jQuery. Yeah. So that's the basic format. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the CSS selector, we're familiar with that. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Yeah. All right. Let me give you some examples. Yeah. Very simple. Yeah. After you get familiar with the style, the format, you can get used to it easily. Yeah. First one, hide the current element. In regular JavaScript, we can write our function to hide, right? Remember, display property. We can change display property from block to none. So that's one way. Visibility property, we change from hidden, yeah, from what? Yeah. Hidden versus what? Yeah. I couldn't remember. Yeah. We can find it. Yeah. We can do that. But here in jQuery, that part is simplified to this. First, you select some element. Okay? That assume you are in some element. So you refer to the current element. So this, yeah. Hide method. You call hide method. This action just hide. Okay? You hide it. Yeah. That's simple. Okay? Yeah. Second one, hide all P elements. This time you change the selector to P. Okay? Double quotes P. Yeah. Double quotes P. All right? Yeah. Hide. Yeah. Third example, you hide all elements with class equals test. Okay? Selected dot test, CSS way, dot text, the class, all the elements with this class. Okay, yeah. Next one, ID equals test, the CSS way, hash sign, right? Hash sign, yeah, hash sign, test, ID, select ID, yeah. More selector examples, yeah. So we can use many different ways, combinations to select elements. Yeah. Select all elements, star. Select all elements. Okay? In jQuery. Yeah. Select all P elements with class intro. Yeah. Then P dot intro. This way to select. Okay? Select first P element. Okay? Dot P colon first. First P element. P colon first. Very simple, right? Yeah. Select the first LI element of the first UL element. Okay, yeah. This way. UL space LI colon first. Okay, yeah. Select all elements with href attribute. So this time we can select based on the attribute also. Okay, yeah. Dollar, double quotes, a pair of brackets. Yeah, for attribute. Yeah. Selects all button elements and input elements of type button. When we create a button, we have two ways. One way we use button element. Another way we use input element, but we use type button. Okay, two ways. But in those two ways, we use the dollar, double quotes, colon, button to select those elements. Okay, yeah. So the last one of this part, select all even TR elements. Table, right? Yeah. So in a table row, one row. So we select even rows, TR, even elements, not odd. So that's good. Sometimes we need that. Yeah. TR colon even. How simple is that? So you can see a lot of tasks in jQuery. They can be simplified a lot. Okay, yeah. So that's why jQuery is very popular in web development. Yeah, highly recommended. You should use jQuery, but until you build up, you have a lot of experience in regular JavaScript. You need that experience. Yeah. Later, you move to jQuery. Yeah. All right. Then jQuery event methods. Yeah. We know the JavaScript event, HTML event. In jQuery, we do those same events, corresponding events, but we use the method way. So that's why we call it method events. Handling those events in using the method way. Using those methods, then you provide event handling functions. Yeah. So let's see the jQuery event handling ways. Most DOM events have an equivalent jQuery method. So here you can see jQuery using the method way to handle DOM events. The result, pretty simple, also quite natural. Yeah. Let's look at some examples. The first one, this one, dollar parenthesis document. We select a document element. So we know, the whole document. There is one element corresponds to that whole document. Ready. So remember, there is an event called onReady, right? Body, onReady. When the document is loaded completely, so it is ready. The onReady event is created by the browser. When that happens, here, jQuery called this ready method. This is a method, right? So this is method. So when the document is loaded, ready, this method is called. Okay? So you can pass parameter to it. Okay? The parameter is a function. You can pass a callback function, a function you pass to it. Okay? So then when the document is loaded, ready, you execute the function inside the parentheses. Yeah. It allows us to execute a function when the document is fully loaded. Yeah. So whatever the function, you can pass into it. All right, yeah. This example, selector, $ parenthesis, selector, dot click. Yeah. Click, we know there is an event called click, HTML event. But here in jQuery version, it uses click method corresponds to that event. When that click happens, this method is called. When you call this method, what to do in this method? You can pass a function to it. Yeah. All right. So we can see a simple example in this way. Yeah. It attaches an event handler function to an HTML element. Okay. P element, some P element, okay, yeah, P element, dot click. Then we pass the definition of the function. How do we define this function? Recall the function basics we learned. How do we define it? Function expression. Anonymous function expression. Here our function does not have any name, so we call it anonymous function expression. So we use here. So we pass that anonymous function expression as a variable to it. Yeah. That could be treated as a variable, right? So we pass it as a variable to it. So then this function will be executed when the click event occurs. Now, all right. Next, jQuery CSS method. This method also very useful. You can change CSS properties. Sometimes you need to change some of the CSS properties. You can see this way makes that change very easy. Much easier than if you want to use the regular JavaScript. Very, very complicated. It could be very complicated. Yeah. All right. The CSS method sets or returns one or more style properties, your CSS style properties, one or more, multiple, yeah, for the selected elements. Yeah. Very useful. Yeah. All right. Some examples. Get a CSS property. So we want to retrieve some CSS property value. So we use this way. Definitely we need to select, right? Yeah, because for some selected elements, $, you know, what do we learn before, right? Dot CSS property name. So it returns that property value. Okay, all right. So the example here, selector, after you select, then you want to get background dash color, that property value. Okay, red, blue, you know, whatever the value you can retrieve. Yeah. All right. Set a CSS property. Now you want to set, not just get. You want to change the property value. This time you use this version. The second parameter, the value you want to change. Replace the original value by this new value. That simple. Example, you can do this. Okay. Background color this time you change to yellow. Whatever original value, red, blue, green, now you call, select that element, you change it to a new color. So simple. Okay, yeah. All right, so that's for the video D.2. And we have another one, D.3, for this introduction part.